It's time for high school basketball on AudioSportsOnline.com. Tonight, we bring you Mid-State Conference action as the Plainfield Quakers travel to Decatur Central to take on the Hawks. I'd like to thank our sponsors of Plainfield Varsity Basketball, the Hendricks County Flyer, Jay's Tree Farm, Creekside Family Dentistry, and Plainfield Eye Care. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to high school basketball on ASO. My name is Brian Scott. It's a Mid-State Conference matchup, Game 2 of a girls-boys doubleheader. The Plainfield Lady Quakers and the Lady Hawks. If we have any type of game in the boys' game like we had in the girls' game, we're in for a doozy. As those two teams, the ladies put on a show here in Game 1. It was the Lady Quakers coming away with a 56-55 victory. Now time for the boys to take the court as the Quakers come in with a record of 2-10, taking on a Hawks team that has a record of 8-5. Both times, last time out, Plainfield lost to Mooresville last Friday night by the score of 62-36, while Decatur Central lost to Ben Davis by the score of 63-52. Decatur Central leads the Mid-State Conference with a 4-0 conference record, 8-5 overall. Plainfield still looking for their first Mid-State Conference win. They are 0-3 in conference play and 2-10 overall. The Quakers come into this game averaging a little over 43 points per game. They give up almost 56 points per game. And the Hawks have a league-leading 66 points per game is what they put up on an average, while giving up almost 63 points per game. Decatur Central and Plainfield both coming off of losses, both looking to right the ship to continue. For Plainfield, they had their first 2 wins of the season, and they got them back-to-back just about a week or so ago. They knocked off Greenfield Central at home before traveling to Monrovia to knock off the Bulldogs and then falling to Mooresville last week, while Decatur Central, after back-to-back wins with Avon and at Greenwood, fell to Ben Davis last week. They'll take on Plainfield tonight before traveling next week to Whiteland and before finishing up at home with Beech Grove. As I mentioned, Plainfield fell to Mooresville 62-36. Max Kurkowski led the Quakers with 10 points in that contest. Will Williams finished with 8, and Josh Courtney finished with 6. Meanwhile, for the Hawks, in their 63-52 loss against Ben Davis, Anthony Johnson had 17 points. Jimmy Lee and Lachaeus McNeil both finished with 11 points each for the Hawks. So we should have hopefully a good basketball game for you tonight here on AudioSportsOnline.com as we have the Hawks and the Quakers, Game 2 of a back-to-back boys-girls doubleheader. I'd like to thank our corporate video sponsor, our friends from the Hendricks County Flyer. Special thanks to the Flyer for making these broadcasts possible, as well as their title sponsor, Hendricks Regional Health. Also like to thank those of you that are watching via xrbradio.com, the voice of Hendricks County. Jay's Tree Farm is located at 755 East Joppa Road in Mooresville. They're open 9 to 5:30 weekends, 3 to 5:30 during the week. Jay's Tree Farm, a great place for family outings and tradition, offers fresh, fragrant trees. Creekside Family Dentistry invites you to come see Dr. Reed Johnson. They're located at 410 West Main Street in Plainfield. Dr. Johnson has 20 years of service and focuses on family cosmetic and implant dentistry. For more information, call them today at 838-6684 or learn more on the web at drreedjohnson.com. And fans, the Plainfield Eye Care Center is located at 1855 Stafford Road in Plainfield. They're open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday and Tuesday, and from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wednesday and through Friday. They can be reached at 803-2368 and found on the web at www.plainfieldeyecare.com. They provide expert air care, fashionable glasses, specialty contact lenses, and more since 1961. They want to congratulate Dr. Schaefer on his retirement and welcome Dr. Megan Walton as their newest optometrist. Brian Scott back at Decatur Central High School. Hawks and Quakers tonight on ASO. Let's give you some of the particulars and starting lineups for this game. First off, for the Plainfield Quakers, the head coach is Andy Weaver. He has a 2-10 record in his first year at the helm of the Quakers. Here is his starting lineup tonight, a traditional 2-guard, 2-forward, and 1 center lineup. Starting at a guard, a 5'9 senior, Luke Jones. At the other guard, a 5'10 sophomore, Will Williams. At forward is a 5'11 senior, Jake Jay. The other forward is a 6'4 senior, Josh Courtney. And in the middle, a 6'5 junior, Bobby Jensen. So once again, for the Quakers, it will be Jones and Williams in the backcourt, Jake Courtney and Jensen up front. That's the starting lineup for Coach Andy Weaver's Plainfield Quakers. For Joe Bretta's Decatur Central Hawks, they come in with a record of 8-5. His lineup will have a guard, 5'11" sophomore Adam Bretta. At the other guard, a 6'3" senior Jimmy Lead. At forward is a 6'3" senior Anthony Johnson. The other forward is a 6'7" senior Jason Starks. And at center, a 6'7" junior Lucius McNeil. So once again in the backcourt, it'll be Pretta and Lee. And up front, Johnson, Starks, and McNeil. That is the starting lineup for the Decatur Central Hawks, coming in with a record of 8-5. Sagarin ratings say Decatur Central is ranked 52nd in the state of Indiana, 39th in Class 4A overall, or in Class 4A. And in Plainfield, they're ranked 228th overall, 93rd in Class 4A. Last outing, Plainfield lost to Mooresville back on January 18, 62-36, while the Hawks lost to Ben Davis, 63-52. Over the last 15 years, Plainfield has had the better of this matchup. They have an 11-4 record, but it was Decatur Central winning in Plainfield last year in a close one by the score of 67-64. Those are your starting lineups, and those are the particulars as we get ready for basketball here at Decatur Central High School. The Hawks and the Quakers tonight on AudioSportsOnline.com. Brian Scott with you tonight as we get ready for basketball. The Hawks will be in the home whites as you look on your monitor, and the Quakers will be in the road reds. Quakers again with a record of 2-10. They are still looking for their first victory in the Mid-State Conference, and at halftime we'll take you around the Mid-State Conference, let you know what the standings look like in the schedule for this week, as we are about ready for basketball here. Quakers have been introduced, and it is now time for Decatur Central as the Hawks are introduced to the crowd here. As good crowd on hand here at Decatur Central for a Friday night. Again, boy-girls doubleheader as we expect a good basketball game here. Coming into tonight's game, Decatur Central, as I mentioned, leading the Mid-State, averaging 66 points per game. They shoot very well from beyond the arc, 40% on the season. And they average about 26 rebounds per game and do a good job holding on to the basketball, only about 13 turnovers per game. For Plainfield, they come in scoring just about 43 points per game. Defensively, they have a problem getting some on the board, especially though with, which is kind of surprising despite the size that they have along their front line. They are still being out-rebounded this season. Leading scorer for the Hawks, Anthony Johnson, averaging a little over 26 points per game. Lucius McNeil, 11.2 points per game. And for Plainfield, leading scorer in a starting capacity, Josh Courtney, only 8 points per game. So offense has been hard to come by for the Quakers this season. Jumping center for the Hawks will be Jason Starks, and for the Quakers, Josh Courtney. As we're ready for basketball here on Audio Sports Online, the ball's in the air and it belongs to Plainfield to start this game, moving left to right. For the basketball, Jake J up top finds Luke Jones. As they look over a man-to-man defense, Jones drives the lane, but he's going to be called for steps as makes one too many dribbles or too many steps in the lane, and he is called for traveling. First turnover belongs to the Quakers. Decatur Central will now have the basketball, looking over a 2-3 zone employed by the Quakers of Plainfield. Anthony Johnson with the basketball into the lane. He gives the ball to Lucius McNeil, and the ball will go out of bounds and belong to Plainfield. So both teams turn the ball over on their first possessions as the Quakers will bring it up. We are just underway here in the varsity boys game. Girls game earlier was won by Plainfield. Here's a three, no good over in the corner on a nice screen, but it is Decatur Central coming away with a basketball. They get it over to the right side, back up top. Good pump fake by Adam Preda. Gives to Johnson. Johnson drives baseline, shot no good. Jake J gets the rebound, and a foul will be called against Decatur Central. So the first foul of the game will go against the Hawks. And Jimmy Lee will be called for the personal foul. First foul of the contest against Decatur Central, team first, and Jake J will bring the ball across the timeline. Gives it left side into the hands of Will Williams. Williams, free throw line, back up top. They swing it around down, now back up top. Williams with the basketball, left side to Josh Courtney. Courtney drives in the lane, right-hand layup off the glass. Count the bucket and send him to the line.
Foul is called on number 40, Jason Starks.
Jason Starks will be called for his first personal. And Josh Courtney is at the line shooting free throws. Courtney, a 58% free throw shooter on the season. He hits the free throw. And the lead belongs to Plainfield to begin this contest, 3-0. Up top, Preda goes right side. Jimmy Lee back to Preda. They go to Johnson down the left wing. Again, 2-3 zone being employed by the Quakers as Preda drives the lane, lays it off. Here is Starks. His shot no good. Johnson with a rebound in the putback. Or actually, Lucius McNeil with the basket. So McNeil gives the Hawks their first point, and now a steal. Here comes Preda. He goes right side, gives it to McNeil, and McNeil finishes off the break as the Hawks score in transition, and they take their first lead of this contest at 4-3 with 6 minutes left to go, opening quarter. Jake J with a basketball, drives on Johnson. Now gives it back up top to Luke Jones. Jones tries to feed it down to Aldridge, stolen away by Preda. He goes, finds Starks, and Starks will flush it down with two hands. And we are going to have a timeout as the ball got loose. Substitutions as Jake Maple is now in for Coach Andy Weaver. So the Quakers got on the board first, but the Hawks have the advantage, 6-3. Pair of buckets by Lucius McNeil, including a flush. And they have the three-point lead with 5:36 remaining in this first quarter. Luke Jones with the basketball. Tries to feed. Here's a steal. Anthony Johnson with it. Puts a shot up. And he's going to be fouled and then earn a trip to the line. And Coach Weaver Coach Preda looking for an intentional foul. Luke Jones will get the personal. And Anthony Johnson, an 84% free throw shooter, is at the line. It's the first of two. Max Kurkowski now in for the Quakers as Johnson hits the first of two free throws. Second free throw is good. As a team, the Hawks hitting 68% of their free throws, and those two free throws will give Decatur Central an 8-3 lead. Driving in the lane, Max Kurkowski, shot with the right hand's no good. Rebounded by Maple. His shot no good. Ball is loose and finally brought out of there by Will Williams. Now the ball stays loose. It goes into the backcourt, and it's still on the court. Looking and seeing who's going to hold on to the basketball, and finally, after all of that is said and done, Anthony Johnson can't corral it on the sideline, and the ball will go back to Plainfield. Jake J back in for the Quakers. He'll take over for Bobby Jensen. 8-3, Decatur Central with the lead. 5 minutes left to go in this first quarter of play. Brian Scott with you from Decatur Central High School basketball on ASO tonight. They feed down in the low blocks, turning, making a move. Jack Maple shot no good. Preda with a rebound for the Hawks. He'll bring it into the front court. Left side, Johnson for three. On its way, that shot's no good. McNeil with a rebound and the putback. McNeil with 6 points in this quarter. It's a 10-3 Decatur Central lead. 3 ball for Plainfield in the left wing. No good by Josh Courtney. Long outlet pat. Here's Starks around the back. Flips it out. 3 ball left wing on its way. Shot no good. As Jimmy Lee couldn't get the 3-pointer to fall, and that's going to be all that Andy Weaver wants to see. He's going to call a timeout. 4:14 remains in this first quarter of play. It's Decatur Central 10, Plainfield 3. You're watching high school basketball on audiosportsonline.com.
30-second timeout called by the Quakers.
Again, we want to thank our friends, our corporate video sponsor from the Hendricks County Flyer. Special thanks to Flyer for making these broadcasts possible, as well as their sponsor, Hendricks Regional Health. Also like to thank those of you watching via xrbradio.com, the voice of Hendricks County, as you're watching Plainfield Quaker basketball tonight. Brian Scott back with you from Decatur Central High School. 4:14 remains in this first quarter of play. Hawks on a 10-0 run after Plainfield scored the first points of the game. The Hawks have scored the last 10. Will Williams will trigger the inbound, finds Jake Jay in the backcourt. And Jay will walk it up for Plainfield. Trailing by 7 early in this first quarter. Or I should say we're approaching the midway point. Williams loses the basketball. He loses it right at the feet of Starks. And it goes off of Starks' feet out of bounds and will stay in the hands of the Quakers, with Jay triggering the inbound from the baseline. Jake looking for somewhere to throw the ball to, gets the ball into the hands of Courtney. Courtney loses it. Kurkowski goes up. It's blocked. Here comes Lucius McNeil. His layup left short, and the rebound comes down in the hands of Josh Courtney of the Quakers. Quakers move it up the near sideline. Here's Jay. Looks down to Maple, and the ball is stolen away by McNeil. McNeil to Adam Preda. Right side, Anthony Johnson gives it to Jimmy Lee. Lee over the top, was expecting Preda to go to the corner, and Adam Preda was nowhere to be seen. Garrett Patton now in for the Quakers, as Plainfield trails 10-3 with 3:28 left to go here in this first quarter. Jay drives right side, gives the ball up. 3 ball from Kurkowski is good from the corner. Kurkowski's 3 makes it a 4-point deficit for the Quakers. 10-6, 3:11 left to go opening quarter. They find McNeil back out to Preda. Preda has Lee on the right side. They feed down to McNeil, or to Starks. They feed McNeil cutting baseline, and McNeil's going to be called for the foul as he was going for the rebound. Lucius McNeil will be called for his first and the third team foul against the Hawks with 3 minutes left to play in quarter number 1. It's a 10-6 Decatur Central lead, but the Quakers have the basketball. Jay across the timeline, left side, finds Will Williams. Williams double team back to Jay. Stolen, now gotten away from Preda. He leaves it out to Johnson. Johnson throws it down with 2 hands. Anthony Johnson with a 2-hand flush, and now we have a timeout as coming to the sideline is Will Williams hobbling, not putting any pressure on that left ankle. Luke Jones will come back in for Will Williams, as Williams couldn't put any pressure on that right ankle. In for Decatur Central now, TJ Helm, as they try to make a back cut, stolen by Jimmy Lee. Ball still loose. Lee comes away with it. Feeds out to the right side, and Helms will have his first points. Actually, that goes to C.B. Bennett, who was in, and now we'll have a timeout. With 2:24 left to go, first quarter, Decatur Central leads by 8, 14-6. You're watching high school basketball on audiosportsonline.com, and we'll have a full timeout. Timeout on the court. We wanted to let you know that Jay's Tree Farm is located at 755 East Joppa Road in Mooresville. They're open 9 to 5:30 weekends, 3 to 5:30 during the week. Jay's Tree Farm, a great place for family outings and tradition, as they offer fresh and fragrant trees. Brian Scott back with you at Decatur Central High School as the Hawks out in front of the Quakers by the score of 14-6. As they've gotten 6 points from Lucius McNeil, 4 points from Anthony Johnson. And C.B. Bennett just finished a flush to put the Hawks up 14-6. Out of the timeout for the Quakers, it'll be Luke Jones, Jake J., Max Kurkowski, Jake Maple, and Garrett Patton. And here is a steal. Anthony Johnson with the basketball, and he'll flush it with a right hand. Anthony Johnson with his second flush. It's a 10-point Hawk lead with 2:04 left to go. Here is another steal poked away by Lee into the hands of C.B. Bennett. Bennett up the far sideline. They try to go over the top. Great steal by Luke Jones. Jones will take it up, lay it off the glass and in. Luke Jones with a great steal. He finishes it off with a bucket. And the lead's back to single digits for the Hawks at 16-8. Bennett with the basketball left wing up on top to Lee, back to Bennett. Bennett down low to McNeil. They find Helm cutting to the basket. Bucket won't fall, but Helm's going to earn a trip to the line as the foul is going to go against the Quakers. Jake J will be called for his first, team second. And TJ Helm will be at the line for Decatur Central. 30. And he hits the first of two. Helm on the season, only a 37% free throw shooter, but he's now 7 of 17. Second one, no good, tipped out, and Tim Bowdy comes down with it for the Quakers, and now he's going to be fouled by Helm. Helm a little too aggressive on the defense. He commits the personal foul. And that'll be the fourth team foul against Decatur Central. With a minute 23 left to go, opening quarter. 17-8, Hawks with the lead. Quakers with the basketball. They feed to Jay. Jay in the lane, needs to get rid of it. And they send it to Bowdy. Bowdy's three is no good. Gets his own rebound. Drives, leaves it off for Maple. Maple's shot is blocked. Saved, but then right into the hands of Garrett Patton, and Patton finishes it off with the bucket. 17-10 Hawks. 57 seconds remain in the quarter. Right side to Lee, beyond the arc. Feeds down low to Helm. Helm finds McNeil, and as McNeil goes to the bucket, he's going to be fouled and earn a trip to the line. Jake J will earn his second personal foul, third team foul. And Lucius McNeil is at the line to shoot a pair. McNeil, a 60% free throw shooter on the season, hits the first of two. He has 7 points. One more free throw coming for Lucius. Second free throw is good. That puts the Hawk lead up to 9. As Jay will leave and Max Kurkowski returns. And now Jason Starks comes in for the Hawks, and Lucius McNeil will sit down with 8 points. Final 46 seconds of the quarter, and the Hawks up by 9. Quakers Bowdy feeds in the lane, and the nice little stop jump is Luke Jones. He makes the bucket. 19-12 Hawks. Right side, this is Bennett. Bennett over the top finds Anthony Johnson. Johnson creates space. 3 ball from the corner is no good. Rebounded by Bowdy. Bowdy is able to get the ball away to Jones. They feed it down low on a great lob pass down the court. And finishing it off is Max Kurkowski. That makes the deficit only 5, 19-14. 6 seconds remain. Lee with 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Long range three is good. NBA range right there shown by Jimmy Lee as he bombs away to end the first quarter. And the Hawks lead the Quakers 22-14. Second quarter action coming up. You're watching high school basketball on AudioSportsOnline.com. Fans, Creekside Family Dentistry invites you to come see Dr. Reed Johnson. They're located at 410 West Main Street in Plainfield. Dr. Johnson has 20 years of service and focuses on family, cosmetic, and implant dentistry. For more information, call them today at 838-6684 or learn more on the web at drreedjohnson.com. Brian Scott back at Decatur Central High School. Second quarter action about ready to get underway. Hawks with a 22-14 lead over Plainfield. Jimmy Lee with an NBA range three to close out the first quarter. Lucius McNeil led with 8 points for the Hawks in that first quarter, 6 from Anthony Johnson. Meanwhile, for the Quakers, Max Kurkowski with 5 and Luke Jones has 4. It'll be the Hawks to have the basketball to begin quarter number 2. We'll set the lineups in just a moment. Here's a three by Bennett in the corner. It's up and good. CB Bennett hits the three. He is on the season. Made only his second three-point basket. He's now 2 of 11 from the beyond the arc. But it puts the lead for the Hawks up by 11. Here's a feed. Nice steal by T.J. Helm as they tried to catch Jake Maple coming down the lane. Here's a nice backdoor cut blocked by Josh Courtney. Decatur Central gets back the basketball. Johnson will pick up his dribble, go right side to Preda. Preda finds Starks. Over into the corner once again. Here's C.B. Bennett. And for a player that has only hit 1 3 all season, he hits 2 back-to-back to push the lead 27-14. Driving the lane, losing the basketball was Josh Courtney, but there to put it back up and in was Jake Maple. Maple with his first points. It's a 12-point Decatur Central lead. Preda with the basketball. Top of the key, left side Johnson. Into the free throw line. Jumper is way off by Starks. Gets the long rebound himself, puts it up. That shot's no good. Tim Bowdy with a rebound for the Quakers. And he'll get the basketball to bring the ball back into the front court. Bowdy between the circles, guarded by Anthony Johnson. Left-hand dribble, lobs it into the corner. Where the basketball was Jones. Driving was Courtney. He was stripped, but it falls right into the hands of Jack Maple. And Maple has his second bucket to make it a 28-18 Decatur Central lead. Preda right side to Helm, who just hit 2 3-pointers to Johnson. Back up top to Helm. Helm drives. The right-hand floater is up and good. C.B. Bennett. 10 points for C.B. Bennett. And it's 30-18 in favor of the Hawks. Luke Jones with the basketball, trying to get away from Preda. Steps in, a little leaner is no good. Rebound comes down in the hands of Bennett. Long outlet pass to Preda. He was all alone but blew the layup. Maple with a rebound for the Quakers. And he will go left side to Luke Jones. Jones, right side, touch pass over to Bowdy. Bowdy in the lane, goes over to the left. Nice ball fake. They feed down low, and Maple goes up, and they'll have a foul called on the floor. Looks like it's going to go against C.B. Bennett. Bennett will be called for his first personal foul. 5th team foul against the Hawks as Lucius McNeil is back in for the Hawks. He'll take over for Jason Starks. Maple and Bowdy will depart as we got a whole host of Quaker changes. As Will Williams, who was hobbling just a moment ago, he's back out on the court. Williams will throw it into the backcourt where Garrett Patton waits. Garrett drives, explodes through the lane, misses the layup. McNeil comes down with a rebound for the Hawks, and he's fouled by Garrett Patton. Patton with his first personal. It is Williams, Luke Jones, Garrett Patton, Josh Courtney, and Bobby Jensen on the court for Coach Andy Weaver's Quakers. For the Hawks, it is Adam Preda, Anthony Johnson. This is Jimmy Lee with the basketball. Leaves it to Lucius McNeil. They will throw it back out to Lee. They're joined by C.B. Bennett. McNeil shot, no good. Comes back to Lee. Lee for 3. That one's off the rim, no good. Williams with a rebound for the Quakers. Luke Jones will bring it into the front court with 4:40 left to go in this first half. And the Quakers trailing 30-18. Jones Right side finds Williams cutting baseline, and Williams with a nice play finishes it off with his first bucket of the game. Jones finds Williams cutting baseline as he gets behind the Hawks defense and gets his first points. Preda with the basketball now, tries to feed McNeil, stolen away by Jensen. Jensen denies the inbound, now looking to give it away, and is called for double dribble. Put the ball on the court, forgot about it, and put it back down, and he's called for the double dribble.
The Quakers, number 20,
Max Kurkowski back in for Coach Weaver as Courtney will take a seat. 4:10 remains, 30-20 in favor of the Hawks. Preda to inbounds. Feeds it to Johnson. Johnson between two Quaker defenders. He had Jensen and Jones there, and the foul's going to go against the Quakers. Bobby Jensen, his first. 15 foul, and Johnson's at the line to shoot a pair. Johnson with 6 points here in the quarter. Hits the first of two. He is 3 of 3 from the charity stripe as TJ Helm now will come in for Adam Preda. Johnson with one more free throw on its way. And the second free throw, he's good. He's perfect from the line, 4-4. He has 8 points, and it's a 12-point lead for the Hawks. Get the ball into Garrett Patton, who will leave it back to Luke Jones. Jones left side, Will Williams almost loses it, guarded by Jimmy Lee. Williams, left-hand dribble, free throw line. Looks, finds Luke Jones. Jones creates some space, but then Johnson's there to pick him right back up. And they'll throw it back up top to Williams. Will Williams around a Kurkowski screen, gives it right back. Kurkowski in the lane, free throw lane, loses the basketball. Jimmy Lee, he gives it right side. TJ Helm had to save it, throws it back in, and they will say that the Lucas McNeil reestablished position in the front court before he got that pass. So no over and back violation, and TJ Helm finishes it off with a bucket to make it a 14-point Hawk lead. Williams loses it, but chasing it back in the backcourt is Garrett Patton. It'll be out of bounds off of Helm, and the ball will stay in the hands of the Quakers, trailing by 14 with 3:11 left to go in this first half of play. Kurkowski gives it right side. This is Patton with the basketball. Leaves it to Jensen. Jensen goes up, but not before he's called for steps. Lakeas McNeil was there, but they're going to say Bobby Jensen took an extra step, and that's going to lead to the turnover and the ball going back into the hands of the Hawks. 3 minutes left to play in the first half. Decatur Central is up 34-20. Jimmy Lee makes a move left side here is Bennett for three. That's off the back of the rim, no good. Rebounded by Patton. Garrett into the front court. Tries to leave it left side for Jensen, stolen away by Anthony Johnson. And now Garrett will commit the personal foul as he steps in front of Anthony Johnson and commits the blocking foul.
Foul called on number 23, Garrett Patton.
Adam Preda back in for the Hawks, and John Aldridge now in for the Quakers. Jimmy Lee will trigger the inbound from the sideline with Decatur Central up by 14 with 2:45 left to go in the first half as Preda guarded by Luke Jones as Jimmy Lee, entry pass to McNeil, back to Lee. Lee drives in the lane, left hand as well, short. Jones with a rebound for the Quakers. Right side to Williams, he gives it back to Jones. Jones drive, goes back to Williams, and Will couldn't handle the pass. It goes out of bounds, and the ball goes back into the hands of Decatur Central. TJ Helm back in for the Hawks. Right now for Coach Weaver, it's just a matter of too many turnovers as the ball goes back into the hands of Decatur Central once more. Johnson will be guarded by Garrett Patton as he brings it across the timeline. Right side, and Lakeas McNeil just laid a linebacker block on Garrett Patton. Now, Garrett Patton is used to those. He is a wide receiver for the Plainfield Quakers. He's used to getting hit. But I don't know if he's used to getting a shoulder into him like Lucius McNeil just delivered. Garrett's going to take a seat as Jake J comes back in. 16 fouls now apiece. So next foul puts both teams at the line. TJ Helm looking for the steal. Didn't get it. As he looks at Quakers' John Aldridge. But Coach Weaver asking the official about it, but no foul called, and the Quakers have the basketball, trailing by 14 with 2:06. Luke Jones finds Jake J cutting through the lane. J missed the layup. Johnson with a rebound, left side. They give it to Stark, and Stark is going to be fouled by John Aldridge. Aldridge will pick up his first personal. It's the 7th team foul, but this will be a 2-shot foul for Starks. Starks on the season, a 66% free throw shooter. And a whistle now as they're backing off the line.
Technical foul called on number 33, Jimmy Lee.
Jimmy Lee has been called for a technical. So Lee, that's a technical foul. That's also a personal foul. He now has 2. So Starks will be shooting free throws on the personal foul. So they'll clear the lane. So Starks at the line to shoot a pair. Hits the first. And now Lee will come out, and Adam Preda will come in. And Lee heads to the bench shaking his head. Meanwhile, Starks at the line for one more free throw. The technical foul also was a 17 foul against the Hawks. So both teams now in the bonus for the final minute 56. We'll go to the other end of the court where Krakowski will shoot the technical. And he misses the first of 2. Second technical free throw on its way. He missed them both. So Krakowski misses both technicals, and the Quakers will have the basketball. With a minute 56 remaining in the first half, and Decatur Central up by 15, 35-20. Jay leaves it left side to Luke Jones. Jones works on Preda. Left dribble, now picks it up. Finds Aldridge cutting. A reverse layup, no good. Ball is loose and finally corralled by Anthony Johnson. Johnson right side finds C.B. Bennett. Bennett back to Johnson. Johnson up top to Preda. Preda back to Starks. Starks loses it high, gives it to Helm. And now the Hawks will call a timeout. With a minute 26 left to go first half. Decatur Central leading Plainfield 35-20. You're watching high school basketball on Audio Sports Online. Fans, this will be a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. Stay tuned at halftime. We'll have our halftime stats and take you around the Mid-State Conference, let you know what's going on. As we mentioned during the girls' game, their season will end next week, and then sectional play will begin. But for the boys, they still have about a month of basketball left to play. Both teams now with 17 fouls, so bonus in effect for both squads. And it'll be the Hawks with the basketball. It'll be Preda, Johnson, Bennett, Helm, and Starks. It'll be Jensen, Jones, Patton, Courtney, and Williams on the court for the Quakers. Ball almost lost. Johnson with a save finds Preda. Preda finds Helm all alone underneath. Johnson with the save, and Preda does the rest as Helm gets behind the defense, and we'll have a foul as Will Williams is going to be fouled by C.B. Bennett, his second, and that'll send Williams to the line for the 1-and-1. Williams, a 64% free throw shooter. He's at the line for the first time tonight, and he'll have the 1-and-1. Free throw is up, hits the first, gets the bonus. 1:05 left to go first half, and Williams with the back end of the 1-and-1 on its way. Second free throw is good. Williams with 4 points, but it's still a 15-point Hawk lead with 1 minute left to play first half. Preda stops his dribble, backs it up to Helm. Helm finds Bennett at the right elbow. Bennett backs it up, gives it to Anthony Johnson. Johnson gets his high ball screen, drives in the lane, loses the basketball, and travel. Had a high ball screen to his left from Starks, but instead took it to his right down the lane and is called for steps. 37-22 Hawks. But the Quakers have the basketball. Will Williams, step back three on its way. It's no good. Bobby Jensen with the putback. It's no good. Starks has the rebound, and he's fouled. And now more whistles and a technical foul called against Jason Starks. And he is still gabbing, and he was in danger of getting a second tee.
Foul called on number 22, Josh
Courtney was called for the foul, and now Anthony Johnson is talking with Jason Starks, telling him to cool it, as the Hawks have a big lead, 15 points. But now they've had two technicals, one by Jason Starks and one by Jimmy Lee. Courtney committed the foul, and he was backing away. Starks kept jawing with him, and he was eventually called for the tech. The foul against Courtney, they're going to go shoot the technicals first. Or I take it back, they're going to send Starks to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. So let's send Starks to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. If he misses it, he will not get the second free throw. And he hits it. So he will get the bonus. 36 seconds remain in this first half. And Starks' second free throw is good. That gives Starks 5 points. Now we'll head to the other end. And Will Williams will come in to shoot the technical. Starks is going to leave as Morgan Meredith will come in for this final 36 seconds. Williams just hit 2 free throws. He hits that one. And he'll have one more. Williams 4-4 from the line. Jensen will leave. Jake Maple will return, and the Quakers will have the ball side out, trailing 39-24 with 36 seconds left to go first half. Now the officials with some words with the fans there on the sideline, as Courtney gets the ball into the hands of Luke Jones. And a whistle and a foul away from the ball, and it's going to be against Plainfield, Josh Courtney. It's the 19th foul, so we head to the other end to shoot free throws. Courtney leaves. John Aldridge back in for the Quakers.
Not a shooting foul.
Oh, it was an offensive foul, so there's no free throws on that. So the Hawks will have the basketball up by 15 with 32.3 seconds remaining. And what's gotten a little chippy here in the closing moments here of the first half. Preda picks up his dribble, goes right side, finds Meredith. They get the ball down low to Bennett, to Anthony Johnson. Johnson, that's a 2 if it goes. It's short. Williams with a rebound for the Quakers. Will with 10 seconds remaining. And now a foul is going to be called against TJ Helm. For Helm, that's his second personal. It's the 10th team foul against the Hawks, so that'll put Williams at the line shooting the double bonus.
Double bonus at the line, shooting the 2 bonus free throws. Williams.
And Williams has just been perfect at the line so far tonight, 4-4. And he keeps that streak going. Now with 7 points in this contest, Will Williams, and he's looking for his 8th from the line, which he sinks. 39-26, final 9 seconds. Long outlet pass. Anthony Johnson gets the bucket and one. Foul by Garrett Patton. That'll be Garrett's 3rd personal, 10th team foul. Credit the basket to Johnson and send him to the line for the and one. 10 points now for Anthony Johnson. He can make it 11 with a free throw here, which he does. Max Kurkowski back in as he comes in for Garrett Patton. Williams will pick up the ball. 4 seconds remain. 2 seconds. Drive, stump jobs. Tried to give it over to the left side to Jake Maple, and the ball goes out of bounds. And that's the end of the first half. Decatur Central took control of this game early, and they've never let up. They'll head to the break leading by 18 points, they lead 42-26. Halftime here at Decatur Central. We'll be back with halftime stats and a look at the Mid-State Conference after this. This is high school basketball on audiosportsonline.com.
breadstick with a 2-liter bottom. Alec DeFord and Riker Stout also got themselves some crazy bread. We have 2 shooters for this game. We have Smith and Blake Mitchell. Our first shooter, Kelly Smith. Oh, so close. And now we have Mr. Blake Mitchell trying to win himself a meal deal. The meal deal is a large pizza, a breadstick, and a 2-liter. He tries the backwards approach and fails. Now they'll get 1 attempt to hit a half-court shot. If any contestant hits the half-court shot, they'll win the party. That's 4 large pizzas and 2 orders of breadsticks. Kelly Martin, our first contestant, will attempt a half-court shot. She's going for the grandma approach. She changed her mind and goes through the running approach. With a heave. And missed it. Our final contestant, Mr. Blake Mitchell, will try to win himself the party. 4 large pizzas and 2 orders of breadsticks with his half-court attempt. Both contestants do win themselves a round of crazy bread. Round of applause for our 2 contestants, Kelly Smith and Blake Mitchell. For to participate, they win a free order of crazy bread, courtesy of Little Caesars
Halftime at Decatur Central High School. Brian Scott back with you on High School Friday night, I should say. You know, after a few days, it just kind of all strings together. High School Friday night on audiosportsonline.com. We are at Decatur Central, game 2 of a girls-boys doubleheader. And the boys right now, the Decatur Central Hawks way out in front of the Quakers of Plainfield, 42-26. Before we give you our halftime stats, let's take a look around the Mid-State Conference as games begin tonight. At the beginning of tonight, it is the Decatur Central Hawks that are atop the Mid-State Conference standings. A perfect 4-0 conference record, 8-5 overall. Franklin is in second place. They have the best record of any of the teams in the conference with a 10-2 overall record, but their one loss came in conference play, and it came at the hands of these Decatur Central Hawks. Franklin now 3-1 on the season, 10-2 overall, and since that loss to Decatur Central, the Franklin Grizzly Cubs have won their last 10 straight. Martinsville is in third place, 8-5 overall, 2-1 in the conference. Whiteland follows. They are also 2-1 in conference play, 5-9 overall, but the Warriors have lost their last 4. Morrisville follows, 4-7 overall, 1-2 in conference play, but they've won their last 2. Plainfield is next, 2-10 overall, 0-3 in conference play, and the Greenwood Woodmen round out the Mid-State Conference standings, 1-10 overall, 0-4 in conference play. Let's take a look at our schedule tonight. Martinsville is at Franklin. Of course, the Quakers and the Hawks are here tonight. Shelbyville is at Greenwood, and Whiteland is at Mooresville. For tomorrow's action, Cascade will play at Plainfield tomorrow. Columbus North is at Whiteland. Franklin is at Southport, and Indianapolis Roncalli is at Greenwood. That's the Mid-State Conference standings and schedule heading into play tonight. Let's take a look at our halftime statistics with the Hawks leading the Quakers 42-26. Decatur Central led after the end of the first quarter 22-14. They outscored Plainfield 20-12 in the second quarter to have the 16-point advantage. For the visiting Quakers, leading scorer is Will Williams with 8 points. 5 points from Max Kurkowski, 4 points each from Luke Jones and Jack Maple, 2 points from Garrett Patton, 3 points, I should also say, from Josh Courtney, and Jake J., Tim Bowdy, John Aldridge, and Bobby Jensen played. They have not scored. For the Decatur Central Hawks, leading scorer with 11 points is Anthony Johnson. 10 points from C.B. Bennett. He had 2 big threes there in that second quarter. 8 points for Lucaeus McNeil. 5 points each from Jason Starks and T.J. Helm. 3 points from Jimmy Lee. Adam Prada and Morgan Meredith played. They did not score. Both teams back on the court. We're ready for second half action here at Decatur Central High School. Fans, we'd like to thank the Hendricks County Flyer, Jay's Tree Farm, Creekside Family Dentistry, and Plainfield Eye Care for being sponsors of Plainfield varsity basketball. I'd like to thank our corporate video sponsor, our friends from the Hendricks County Flyer. Special thanks to the Flyer for making these broadcasts possible, as well as their title sponsor, Hendricks Regional Health. Also like to thank XRBRadio.com, the voice of Hendricks County. Jay's Tree Farm is located at 755 East Joppa Road in Mooresville. They're open from 9 to 5:30 on weekends, 3 to 5:30 during the week. Jay's Tree Farm, a great place for family outings or tradition, offering fresh and fragrant trees. Creekside Family Dentistry invites you to come see Dr. Reed Johnson. They're located at 410 West Main Street in Plainfield. Dr. Johnson has 20 years of service and focuses on family, cosmetic, and implant dentistry. For more information, call them today at 838-6684 or learn more on the web at www.drreedjohnson.com. And the Plainfield Eye Care Center is located at 1855 Stafford Road in Plainfield. They're open from 8 to 6 Monday and Tuesday and from 8 to 5 Wednesday through Friday. They can be reached at 803-2368 and found on the web at www.plainfieldeyecare.com. They provide expert eye care, fashionable glasses, specialty contact lenses, and more since 1961. They congratulate Dr. Schaefer on his retirement and welcome Dr. Megan Walton as their newest optometrist, the Plainfield Eye Care Center. Brian Scott back at Decatur Central High School. We're ready for second half action between the Hawks and the Quakers, with Decatur Central up by 16, 42-26. Quick hands by the Hawks and too many turnovers by the Quakers so far is the difference in this contest. To begin the second half for the Hawks, it'll be Adam Preda, Jason Starks, Jimmy Lee, Anthony Johnson, and Lucaeus McNeil. And as we watch the Quakers break the huddle, they will have Bobby Jensen, Bobby Jensen, Jake Maple, Will Williams, Max Kurkowski, and Garrett Patton. So almost a totally new starting lineup. Nice spin in the lane by Kurkowski, but he can't get it to drop. Patton with a rebound, dribbles it back, and he'll throw it back out. Will Williams for three. That's short off the rim. Gets the long rebound, puts it back up, lays it off too strong. Jensen with a putback. That's no good. Quakers get several tries out of it, and finally McNeil comes away with it for the Hawks. Just underway third quarter, a 16-point lead, Hawks lead as Preda has the basketball. He finds Johnson cutting through the lane. Johnson can't finish the layup. Loose ball finally tracked down by Jack Maple. He'll give it to Will Williams. Williams in the front court. Right side finds Kurkowski. Kurkowski to Patton. Patton left side to Will Williams at the arc. Looks at Maple down in the low blocks. Gets a screen from Bobby Jensen. Thinks about a three, drives the right side of the lane, lays it up with the right hand, no good. Rebounded by Lucaeus McNeil. McNeil to Jimmy Lee. Lee near side, left-hand dribble, picks it up. Feeds down low to Stark. Stark looking for McNeil, lob comes in. Lucaeus McNeil working on Bobby Jensen. Picks up his dribble, feeds it out to Preda. Three ball, top of the key is good. Adam Preda with his first basket. It's a three from the top of the key. And it's a 19-point Decatur Central lead. Driving baseline, losing the basketball is Garrett Patton into the hands of Anthony Johnson. And Johnson will give it off to Jimmy Lee. Lee will slowly walk it up into the front court near side. Left-hand dribble. Now explodes down the left side of the lane, but the layup's short. Starks with a rebound, and he wraps around the other side and lays it up with the right hand. Jason Starks now with 7 points. And it's a 21-point Decatur Central lead, and we are just over 2 minutes into this third quarter. Will Williams drives, pull-up jumper from about 12 feet, no good. Rebounded by Lee, outlets to Johnson. Johnson drives, fouled from behind by Will Williams, and Anthony Johnson will head to the line to shoot a pair. Will Williams will pick up his first personal foul, first team foul against the Quakers here in the second half, and Johnson's at the line to shoot a pair. Johnson is 5 for 5 so far tonight from the free throw line. He has 11 points. And he keeps the perfect streak at the line going. Patton leaves as Kyler Nichols now in for the Quakers. Johnson with one more free throw. He remains perfect. He has 13 points. It's a 49-26 Decatur Central lead with 5:43 remaining in the third period of play. It'll be Nichols that'll handle the point guard duties for the Quakers. Dribbles with a left hand, looks over a 2-3 zone. Gets the ball back, and Nichols can't hold on to the basketball in the pass from Max Kurkowski. It goes out of bounds, and the ball goes back into the hands of the Hawks. First time we've seen Decatur Central go to the zone here in this game. Here's Lucaeus McNeil, drives in the lane, loses the basketball. Ball still loose, and now we'll have a tie-up, and the possession error will favor Decatur Central. Jason Starks was hoping he could call a timeout. Not sure that Coach Weaver would care to keep a possession with a 21-point lead, but they keep it anyway on the held ball. Here's Anthony Johnson on the inbound, but leaves the layup short. Williams had it, loses it to McNeil. McNeil goes up strongly, and a whistle and a foul will send Lucaeus McNeil to the line. Will Williams will pick up his second personal, team second, and Lucaeus McNeil is now at the line. McNeil is 2 for 2. He has 8 points, all of them coming in the first quarter. And he hits the first of 2. Luke Jones back in. He'll come in for Kyler Nichols for the Quakers. And McNeil at the line with one more free throw due. Second free throw on its way. He hit them both. Hawks doing an exceptional job from the free throw line tonight. Their only miss was from T.J. Helm. Here's a long-range three. It's up. It is good by Max Kurkowski. Kurkowski's second three-pointer of the night. He has 8 points. 51-29 in favor of Decatur Central. 4:50 remains in the third quarter. Preda finds Johnson, drives baseline, and lays it up and in. Anthony Johnson with a strong baseline move gets the bucket. And it's 53-29. Luke Jones with a basketball. Feeds to, as Jensen gets the ball, he drives baseline, and Bobby Jensen matches Johnson's strong baseline move with one of his own. And it's back to a 22-point lead for the Hawks. Jimmy Lee up top to Preda. Preda back to Lee. Lee, long-range three. Didn't get this one. Rebound comes down to Max Kurkowski. We saw Jimmy Lee with an NBA range three to end the first quarter. Long range there. That one just misses, and away with it come the Quakers. More than halfway through this third quarter, a 22-point lead for Decatur Central. Williams, right side, feeds Jones. They tried to feed it down low. Ball almost went in as Maple, in trying to get the basketball, it tipped off his hands. It then tipped off of Lucius McNeil's hands and almost went in, but Hawks come away with a rebound. Anthony Johnson with the basketball. Looks, right side. Preda could come on a baseline cut. Tries to feed it down to McNeil. Stolen away by Bobby Jensen of the Quakers. And Will Williams trying to make a nifty little move. Ends up committing the turnover on the travel. And Kyler Nichols will come back in for Luke Jones. 53-31, 5:25 left to go in this third quarter. It's been all Decatur Central since the opening tip. Long range three, Johnson nails it from the top of the key. Anthony Johnson's first three-pointer of the night. He now has 18 points, and it's 56-31 as we approach 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Will Williams will back it up, guarded by Jason Stark. Pops the three and nails it. Will Williams answers right back. Williams now with 11 points. 56-34. Starks, free throw line, gives it up to Preda. Now to Anthony Johnson. Johnson, they'll clear it out for him on the right side, let him go one-on-one. He drives baseline, puts it up. Shot is short, but a whistle and a foul will be committed by the Quakers. It'll go against Jack Maple, his first, team foul number 3. And it'll send Johnson to the line, where he is 6 of 6. And he keeps the streak going. He now has 8 points in this quarter. T.J. Helm and C.B. Bennett in, as Preda and Starks will depart for Coach Joe Preda's Hawks. Second free throw from Johnson is good. He's now 9-9 from the free throw line. And the lead's 58-34. Williams loses the basketball into the hands of Bennett. C.B. Bennett will bring it into the front court, wait for his teammates to arrive, gives it to Jimmy Lee. Lee guarded by Kurkowski. Right-hand dribble in the lane, looks, spins it out, gives it to Bennett. Bennett finds Johnson. Johnson cuts baseline, and Johnson finishes it off. .22 points for Anthony Johnson, 60-34, the Hawkins lead. Here's Will Williams, pull-up jumper from the free throw line's off the back of the rim, no good. Here comes Lucius McNeil. McNeil, well, not sure if he had an idea to take it to the hoop or lay it off to the right to Helms. Instead, he loses it out of bounds. The ball goes back to the Quakers. Bobby Jensen, Will Williams leave. Luke Jones, Garrett Patton return for Coach Andy Weaver's Plainfield Quakers. They trail by 26 with 1:42 left to go in the third quarter. Patton down low, Turnaround jumper is no good by Josh Courtney. Rebounded by Helm. He'll outlet to Johnson. Johnson stutter steps in the lane, loses the basketball, and here comes Kyler Nichols. Nichols left side to Patton. Patton goes baseline, partially blocked by Helms, and as Josh Courtney goes up strong with it, he'll be knocked down to the deck, and the foul will be called against the Hawks. TJ Helm will pick up his third, first team foul against the Hawks in the second half. Courtney at the line. He has 3 points. He's made his only free throw he's attempted. Hits the first. Adam Prada back in. He'll come in for Anthony Johnson, who leaves with 22 points. 11 points in the first half, 11 points in the third quarter. Courtney at the line with one more free throw. He cans them both. He has 5 points. And a 24-point lead for Decatur Central with 1:16 left to go in this quarter. Jimmy Lee down low, finds C.B. Bennett down in the low blocks, and Bennett finishes it off. Bennett now with 12 points on an easy find, as Bennett was all alone down in the low post. Nichols picks up his dribble, tried to find driving in Maple, but now here's a steal. And they leave it off for Jake Maple. He left it short, and Lucius McNeil gets the rebound. And Jake Maple's going to go back, wishing he had that one back. He just left that one too short. And the big fella McNeil was there for the rebound. Jimmy Lee leaves it down low. Here's McNeil, fouled from behind. That's going to go against Josh Courtney, which will likely be his third. Courtney picks up his third. And the fourth team foul against the Quakers in the half. Caius McNeil back of the line. He's 4 for 4 with 10 points in the game. And hits the first of two. McNeil with one more free throw. That one misses. But the rebound is chased down by C.B. Bennett. He gives it to McNeil, left elbow, back to Bennett. Bennett finds Helm underneath. Helm looking for the foul, doesn't get it called. And the Quakers come back the other way as Kyler Nichols, left side. Here's a three on its way by Jones. It's long. McNeil has the rebound. McNeil lob to Helm. Helm can't finish it off. And Helm goes down hard at the other end. Well, I was about ready to say with McNeil's miss, the Hawks are now 17 of 20 from the free throw line. Will Williams will come in. Patton will leave. And Jake Maple will leave, and Max Krakowski will come back in. A 63-36 lead, 10 seconds remain in the quarter. Nichols, left side. Jones ball fake, goes up, stripped, and no, they'll call a foul. As we'll see if they get C.B. Bennett. It will be against Bennett. That'll be his third, and now the Hawks with both Helm and Bennett with 3 personals. And Jones at the line to shoot a pair. Luke Jones, a 62% free throw shooter, hits the first, gets the second. He now has 6 points, 63-38, final 3 seconds. Jimmy Lee is going to heave it up at half court, hits the front of the rim, and it doesn't go, but that's the end of the third quarter. It was a 16-point Decatur Central lead, and we'll head to the fourth quarter as they lead by 25. It's Decatur Central 63, Plainfield 38. You're watching high school basketball on AudioSportsOnline.com. Brian Scott back at Decatur Central High School, ready for the fourth and final quarter of play. As it has been all Decatur Central, they lead the Quakers of Plainfield 63-38. Anthony Johnson scores 11 points in that third quarter to match the 11 points he scored in the first half. He leads all scorers with 22 points. Will Williams has 11 for the Quakers. And the Quakers have the basketball to begin the fourth quarter. Here is Williams. Quick three from the corner is no good. Gets the long rebound. Tries to feed it down low. Jason Starks is able to get the ball. They tried to feed it down low. I think they were looking to find Kurkowski. Ball goes out of bounds. They're held ball, and they'll say the possession error will favor Decatur Central. It is Adam Preda, Jason Starks, Anthony Johnson, TJ Helm, and CB Bennett, the five on the court for Joe Preda's Hawks. Here's Helm from the free throw line. It's up and good. Helm with 7 points, 65-38. Quick three. Here's Kurkowski. Hits the three. That puts Kurkowski in double figures with 11 points. It is Will Williams, Max Kurkowski, Luke Jones, Kyler Nichols. As the three by Johnson's no good, but Bennett has the rebound. Right-hand leaner is no good. Kurkowski comes away with it for the Quakers. They're also joined on the court by Josh Courtney. Left side, Jones thought about the three, but pulled it back. Nice find by Williams, cutting baseline, and he's unable to hang on to the basketball. Jake J now returns, and Bobby Jensen as well for Coach Andy Weaver's Quakers. They trail 65-41 with 6:50 left to go in the ball game. Preda loses the basketball right into the hands of Luke Jones. Jones, pull-up jumper, left elbow, rolls off the rim, and coming away with it is Bennett. Long outlet pass to Helm. Helm, wraparound layup, no good, but he's going to earn a trip to the foul line as the foul is going to be called against the Quakers. And it'll go against Will Williams. That'll be his third. 15 foul against Plainfield, and at the line will be TJ Helm, where he is 1 of 2 tonight. 7 points in the game. And Helm's first free throw rims out. Jimmy Lee's back in. He'll take over for Preda. Meanwhile, TJ Helm with one more free throw. For the most part, an excellent free throw shooting night for the Hawks. He misses them both as Kurkowski clears the rebound and gives it to Jones right side. Jake J. Jake J with the basketball, working on Bennett. Nice dribble move, drives in, tries to leave it for Jensen. Jensen couldn't handle it and throws it right into the hands of Jimmy Lee. Long outlet pass to Bennett. Bennett finds Johnson cutting baseline, and Johnson finishes it off. 24 points for Anthony Johnson. Here's a pull-up jumper by Williams. It's no good. Outlet from Johnson to Helm, and Helm will finish the break. And that's going to mean a timeout called on the court with 6:01 remaining in this contest. It's all Decatur Central. They lead Plainfield by the score of 69-41. Fans, we'd like to thank our corporate video sponsor, our friends from the Hendricks County Flyer. Special thanks to the Flyer for making these broadcasts possible, as well as their title sponsor, Hendricks Regional Health. Fans, Jay's Tree Farm is located at 755 East Joppa Road in Mooresville. They're open from 9 to 5:30 weekends and 3 to 5:30 during the week. Jay's Tree Farm is a great place for family outings and tradition and offers fresh and fragrant trees. Brian Scott back at Decatur Central High School with 6 minutes and 1 second remaining in this contest. All Decatur Central as it's been since really the opening tip. The Hawks led by 8 after the end of the first quarter, and they just kept pouring it on, and now as we get ready, they lead by 28 points. Quakers will inbound the basketball as they get the ball in the hands of Jake J. He's going to be met by C.B. Bennett to bring it across the timeline. Jay gets around to Jensen's screen. Works, gives the ball off to Luke Jones. Jones loses it, and now we'll have a whistle and a foul As the foul looks like it's going to go against Jason Starks.
Foul called on number 40, Jason Starks.
That's Starks' third personal. He had a technical earlier that accounted for his second personal. So now he has 3. Jake Jay will inbounds from right in front of the Quakers bench. He finds Max Kurkowski, who goes baseline, and he's going to have that ball rejected and sent out by Jason Starks. So Jay will trigger the inbounds from the baseline. Looks, finds Jensen on a nice inbounds play, and Bobby Jensen finishes it off. Bobby with 4 points, 69-43. The Hawks advantage, 5:32 left to go in this ball game. Lee to McNeil. Lucaeus McNeil, right hand, spins. Guarded well by Jensen, but Jensen's going to be called for the personal foul and send McNeil to the line. Jensen holding his ground against Lucaeus McNeil, but calls for his second personal foul. 16 foul against the Quakers, and McNeil at the line. And he finally misses his second. Kyler Nichols back in for Will Williams of the Quakers, and McNeil, who has 11 points, is looking for his 12th. Second free throw is good. A 27-point Hawk advantage. Patton. Steal on the way by Anthony Johnson. He's going to flip down. He's going to be called for technical for hanging on the rim. Johnson wanted to do a behind-the-back flush. Realized that wasn't going to happen, then hung on the rim. The basket will not count. And Johnson is going to be called on the technical. That's his first personal. The actual ruling is basket interference since he hung on the rim. So we'll go to the other end, shoot technicals, as Max Kurkowski hits the first of 2. And hits them both, and it'll be Quakers ball out. TJ Helm comes in. Johnson's going to get a hand still from the coach, but wanted to do something fancy on a behind-the-back flush, just couldn't make up his mind to go forwards or backwards, and ends up hanging on the rim. Either way, it's still a 25-point Hawks advantage. They get the ball down low to Maple. Back to Jay. Jay goes baseline, gives it to Nichols. Nichols tried to get Maples. Maples loses it. Gains it back. Kurkowski in the lane. Nice hesitation. Can't get the right-hand runner to drop. And the ball comes back out in the hands of TJ Helm, who gives it to Jimmy Lee. 4:40 remains in this contest. 70-45 is our score. Lee loses the basketball to Nichols. Nichols outlets. Here's Garrett Patton. Patton will lay it up with a right hand, miss the layup, but there's Kurkowski trailing, and Kurkowski puts it back in. 15 points for Max Kurkowski. 70-47 is our score. Lee leaves it to McNeil. McNeil, nice spin move in the lane, lays it up with the right hand. McNeil with a strong spin move into the lane, gets the bucket. As the Quakers come back the other way, Jack Maple will get the bucket. Maple now with 6 points, 72-49. Under 4 minutes remain in this contest, and we're going to have a whole host of substitutions for Coach Adam Preda, as it is a 72-49 advantage, and that's going to mean Coach Joe Preda is going to allow many of his starters a chance to sit down, and we're going to see Aaron Sandy come into the game, KJ Coleman as well, as Coach Preda starts to use more of his bench. As it is a 23-point lead. It'll be TJ Helm. Tommy Stevens is now on the court. As I mentioned, KJ Coleman and Aaron Sandy. And Morgan Meredith. So, with the exception of Helm, who will run the point, almost a totally new Hawks. Helm dribble drives, almost lost it, gives it up. This is Tommy Stevens. Stevens gives it up to Coleman. Coleman, left elbow, looks, tied up, gets the basketball, throws it up, shot no good. Williams with a rebound for the Quakers as the refs just let that one play through. Williams now loses it. Here comes Helm. Helm throws it up, gets the bucket, calls the foul against Jake Jay. Jay didn't think he committed any contact. Officials saw it otherwise. Jay will commit his third personal. Helm gets credited for the basket and is at the line for the three-point play. 11 points for Helm. Make it 12 as he converts the and one. And it's a 75-49 Hawks advantage. 3:25 remain in the ball game. With the basketball is Jay. He's working on Tommy Stevens. Baseline gives it up. Here's a jumper by Jake Maple. And Maple now has 8 points. Maple with just a little 8-footer was able to can it. And now Helms will give the ball up. And ball is loose on the court as Morgan Meredith is tied up by Kyler Nichols. And the possession error will favor the Quakers. Garrett Patton will come back in for the Quakers. Max Kurkowski will depart. Bobby Jensen also back in. A 26-point lead for Decatur Central. 2:52 remains. Will Williams in. Williams picks up his dribble, just leans in with a shot. It's no good. Gets the rebound himself. Looks for somebody to give the ball to. Finds Nichols. Nichols gives it up. And now here's a steal by Helms, but Nichols is able to retrieve it. And they find Garrett Patton, and as Patton goes up, he is going to come down on hard by K.J. Coleman. As Garrett with a little ball fake got Coleman up in the air, and Coleman happened to land right on Garrett Patton. So Coleman will pick up his first foul. Patton at the line. Garrett with only 2 points and misses the first. And the Decatur Central student section letting Garrett know about that free throw. Garrett with one more. And that one's short. Gets his own rebound, goes up, stripped by Helms. Trying to save it was Tommy Stevens, but Stevens was out of bounds, and the ball will stay in the hands of the Quakers. 2:23 remains in this contest, 75-51, all Decatur Central. Quakers with the basketball, looking to inbound. They find Will Williams, little head fake, puts the shot up, won't get it to fall, but he'll earn a trip to the line. Foul will go against Aaron Sandy, his first. And 16 foul against Decatur Central, and Will Williams will head to the line. Hits the first. Williams is 7 of 7 from the line. Now make it 8 of 8. He has 13 points on the night. Pull-up three on its way is rattled in and good by Tommy Stevens. So Stevens comes off the bench as one of the reserves and nails the three as we approach 2 minutes left to go in the game. Cross-court pass, Nichols to Williams. Will Williams in the lane, jump stop, goes up. It's going to be hacked by Aaron Sandy. It'll be Sandy's second, team seventh, and Williams is back at the line. As I mentioned, Will Williams 8 of 8 from the line, now 9 of 9 as Max Kurkowski comes back in. Garrett Patton takes a seat for Coach Andy Weaver. The Quakers will be playing tomorrow night. They'll be back at home playing Cascade in a Hendricks County matchup, of Hendricks County teams. Williams makes both free throws. 78-55 is our score. Kicking it out is Sandy, gives it to Helm. Stevens just hit that three. Dribbles, drives down the left side of the lane, lays it up. and it's blocked out of bounds by Jake Maple. Sandy with a move down the left side of the lane. Maple had no part of it, knocking it out of bounds, but the Hawks keep possession of the basketball. And they lob the ball into Morgan Meredith. Meredith to TJ Helm. 1:35 left to go in this contest. 78-55, all Hawks. Pull-up jumper is on its way and good by KJ Coleman. Coleman gets into the scoring column for the Hawks as he hits the pull-up jumper. And it's an 80-55 advantage. 25-point lead for the Hawks. Bobby Jensen out to Kyler Nichols. Left side, Will Williams. Bumps into TJ Helm. No whistle on either side. Williams goes up. He's now going to be hacked by Aaron Sandy. So Sandy comes in as a reserve and quickly picks up his third personal foul. 8th team foul, and Williams is once again back at the line. 15 points so far for Will Williams, and he is once again back at the free throw line. And he hits that one. CB Bennett back in. He'll come in for TJ Helm. Helm leaves with 12 points. And Williams still keeping his perfect streak at the line intact as he hits another one. "12 of 12, a perfect night on the line for Will Williams as the final minute of this game is underway. Here's a floater in the lane, counted for Morgan Meredith. Morgan Meredith hits a floater in the lane to get in the scoring column, 82-57. Quakers with the basketball. Here's Bobby Jensen from the free throw line. Shot rims out. Coming away with it is KJ Coleman for the Hawks. Long outlet pass was looking to get Tommy Stevens underneath the basket. And the ball is said touch last by the Quakers. 33.7 seconds remain. Bennett with a basketball. Stevens, or pull-up jumper, by Coleman. Tries to get his own rebound, puts it up. And KJ Coleman has 4 points. 84-57, final 20 seconds. Coming off the clock, Will Williams, stutter step. Ball fake, partially blocked from behind, gets his own rebound, goes back up with it. Another whistle, another foul will send Will Williams to the line.
Foul called on number 32.
KJ Coleman will pick up his second, 10th team foul, and Williams 12 of 12 from the line, 13 of 13.
Team's 9 at the line, shooting number 13 of Will Williams.
So one thing both teams have done very well in this contest is now 14 of 14 is Will Williams. Both teams have shot free throws very well. Here's a pull-up jumper as the clock winds down by Aaron Sandy. Here's another three on its way. That's good by Tommy Stevens, and that's the buzzer that ends this contest. It was all Decatur Central from the opening tip, and they'll win this game by 28 points. Final score is Decatur Central 87, Plainfield 59. Stay with us for just a moment. We'll have final stats in just a few minutes. You're watching high school basketball on audiosportsonline.com. Brian Scott back at Decatur Central High School, where Decatur Central Hawks have defeated the Plainfield Quakers by the score of 87-59. This game wasn't really even close as Decatur Central got off to the big lead to begin. They led by 8 at the end of the first quarter and just kept pouring it on as the game progressed. And they win this game comfortably, 87-59. Let's give you our final stats for this contest. For the visiting Plainfield Quakers, leading the Quakers with 19 points was Will Williams. And special note there, he went a perfect 14 of 14 from the charity stripe. 15 points for Max Kurkowski, 8 points for Jake Maple, 6 points for Luke Jones, 5 points from Josh Courtney, 4 points from Bobby Jensen, a bucket from Garrett Patton. John Aldridge, Tim Bowdy, Kyler Nichols, and Jake J all played. They did not score. For the victorious Decatur Central Hawks, leading all scorers with 24 points was Anthony Johnson. 12 points each from T.J. Helm and C.B. Bennett off the bench. 7 points for Jason Stark. 6 points for Lucius McNeil. It was 6 points also for Tommy Stevens. 3 points from Adam Prada and Jimmy Lee. 4 points from K.J. Coleman. 2 points from Morgan Meredith, and Aaron Sandy was the only Hawk that played. They did not score. Decatur Central led 22-14 after the end of the first quarter, 42-26 at the break, 63-38 after the end of 3, and they defeat Plainfield by the score of 87-59. The win for Decatur Central makes them 9-5 on the season and a perfect 5-0 in Mid-State Conference play. The loss drops Plainfield to 2-11 on the season and 0-4 in the Mid-State Conference. Next ball game for Decatur Central will not be until February 1st when the Hawks will travel to Whiteland. Meanwhile, for the Quakers, they've got to put this loss behind them, turn right back around and head back home as they will take on the Cascade Cadets tomorrow in Plainfield. Want to thank our sponsors of Plainfield varsity basketball, on this joint broadcast. The Hendricks County Flyer, Jay's Tree Farm, Creekside Family Dentistry, and Plainfield Eye Care. We'd like to thank our corporate video sponsor and our friends from the Hendricks County Flyer. Special thanks to the Flyer for making these broadcasts possible, as well as their title sponsor, Hendricks Regional Health. Jay's Tree Farm is located at 755 East Joppa Road in Mooresville. They're open from 9 to 5:30 on weekends, 3 to 5:30 during the week. Jay's Tree Farm is a great place for family outings and tradition and offers fresh and fragrant trees. Creekside Family Dentistry invites you to come see Dr. Reed Johnson. They're located at 410 West Main Street in Plainfield. Dr. Johnson has 20 years of service and focuses on family, cosmetic, and implant dentistry. For more information, call him today at 838-6684 or learn more on the web at www.drreedjohnson.com. And the Plainfield Eye Care Center is located at 1855 Stafford Road in Plainfield. They're open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday and Tuesday and from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wednesday through Friday. They can be reached at 803-2368 and found on the web at www.plainfieldeyecare.com. They provide expert eye care, fashionable glasses, specialty contact lenses, and more since 1961. They congratulate Dr. Schaefer on his retirement and welcome Dr. Megan Walton. We'll say that again. Welcome Dr. Megan Walton as their newest optometrist at the Plainfield Eye Care Center in Plainfield. Our next broadcast of Decatur Central basketball on Audio Sports Online will be next week, February 1st, as the girls round out and end their 2012-2013 regular season as they welcome the Hoosier Crossroad Conference's Fishers Tigers right here to Decatur Central. That game will tip off at 7:30, and you can watch it here on Audio Sports Online. Our next Plainfield Quaker broadcast will be tomorrow night as the Quakers welcome Hendricks County fellow school, the Cascade Cadets, into Plainfield. Tip-off for that game is at 7:30. You can watch that game right here on AudioSportsOnline.com. It was all Decatur Central tonight. They jumped out to a quick lead, never looked back, and in the end, they defeat Plainfield by the score of 87-59. This is Brian Scott saying thanks for joining me tonight. Look forward to seeing you next time here for high school basketball on Audio Sports Online. Until then, so long, everybody.